Greetings and welcome back. First off, I want to wish everybody a happy Pride Month since it's now June. And in honor of Pride Month, I wanted to list my top 5 LGBTQ plus books. So these are in a rough order, and for each one I've pulled the synopsis from Goodreads because I found I'm not so great at giving a summary of books. I tend to miss things or kind of trail off, so to give you a good sense of what the book's about, I've pulled the synopsis from Goodreads, and then I'll give you reasons why I like each book. So first we have Juliet Takes a Breath by Gabby Rivera. Juliet Milagros Palante is leaving the Bronx and headed to Portland, Oregon. She just came out to her family and isn't sure if her mom will ever speak to her again. But Juliet has a plan, sort of. One that's going to help her figure out this whole Puerto Rican lesbian thing. She's interning with her favorite author, Harlow Brisbane, the ultimate authority on feminism, women's body, and other gay-sounding stuff. Will Juliet be able to figure out her life over the course of one magical summer? Is that even possible? Or is she running away from all the problems that seem too big to handle? So this one was so much fun. I really enjoyed this one. It was a lot of fun. It was such a great self-discovery sort of book, and it was a really nice story of finding yourself and deciding how you feel about everything, even though, she's new to everything, so she's looking for guidance from the mentor, Harlow Brisbane. But she finds out that, some of the things that work for Harlow don't exactly work for her, and so she has to figure out what does work for her and how she feels about everything, and sort of it's a good sort of finding your own voice and feeling comfortable in your own skin kind of book. And it was really fun. It was a nice journey, and I just had a lot of fun with it. So she was a really fun character to follow and sort of go through that journey with, and so I really, really enjoyed Juliet Takes a Breath. So for my second pick is The Heartbreak Bakery by A.R. Capetta. I think that's how you pronounce it. So the synopsis. Sid, no pronouns please, has always dealt with big, hard-to-talk-about things by baking. Being dumped is no different. Except now Sid is baking at the Proud Muffin, a queer bakery and community space in Austin. And everyone who eats Sid's break-up brownies breaks up. Even Vin and Alec, who own the Proud Muffin, and their breakup might take the bakery down with it. Being dumped is one thing. Causing ripples of queer heartbreak through the community is another. But the cute bike delivery person, Harley, he or they, check the pronoun pin, it's probably on the messenger bag, believes Sid about the magic baking. And Harley believes Sid's magical baking can fix things too, one recipe at a time. So this one was so cute, and I love the aspect of the bakery and all the recipes. It was a really good sort of theme going with it, and sort of the idea that Sid believes that they sort of have this magical baking thing, and however they're feeling when they bake something is like going into the baked goods. And so since their brownies seem to break everybody up, they think they have to go and get them back together, and they try to come up with the right recipes to help these couples get back together. And it was just so cute. It was really fun because our main character, Sid, is 17, so they're still in high school, but it didn't feel like your typical teen drama kind of story, so it really could have worked with them at any age, which was really nice because I used to love all YA books, but now that I'm getting older, I'm finding I'm having more trouble sort of relating to teenage drama kind of stories. But this one was really sweet and very finding yourself it was a great look at gender identity, and that was really interesting because I never actually read anything where they talk about gender identity, where they have non-binary characters, and I actually looked up books with that and found The Heartbreak Bakery, and so it was really a really fun read. So it was a really cute story, and I really loved it, and I'd recommend it to anybody, especially if you love baking and anything like that. So third on my list is Conventionally Yours by Annabeth Albert. When these mortal enemies are stuck together on a cross-country road trip to the biggest fan convention of their lives, their infamous rivalry takes a back seat as an unexpected connection is forged. Yet each has a reason why they have to win the upcoming Odyssey gaming tournament, and neither is willing to let emotion get in the way, even if it means giving up their one chance at something truly magical. This one was really fun. It was a great enemies to lovers story, and the characters were so much fun, and I really enjoyed the setting of the conventions and the going to different conventions and the card game competition. It was a lot of fun, very much my vibes. And so I had a lot of fun with this one. I think this is actually the first in a series. I know I read the second one as well, but this one was really fun. So if anybody likes, the kind of convention vibes and a good enemies to lovers story, I'd recommend this one. So next on my list is Cash Delgado is Living the Dream by Taylor K. Mejia. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. And this was actually the book that I got in my blind date with a book in February. And I realized I never gave a review of this book, so I'll do that now. Cash Delgado has a good life in the quaint town of Riley Falls. She is Joyce's bar, where she manages a familiar group of regulars and MCs the ever-popular Karaoke Thursday. She has her 6-year-old daughter, Parker, whose spunky attitude always keeps life interesting. And she has her best friend, Inez O'Connor, who improves Cash's sometimes overly responsible outlook with one full of joy and potential. But change is on the horizon when Chase Stanton, the former bar manager at Joyce's, not to mention Cash's last hookup, returns to town with business prospects that could threaten the local institution and all of Cash's plans to someday bring new life to the place. And if that's not enough, Cash starts having very intimate dreams of Inez, dreams that could threaten the foundation of her well-ordered life. As Cash embarks on a reluctant journey of self-discovery, she's forced to confront all the ways she's been hiding in her own life. But will she choose to remain the same? Or will the desire for love, even a love that looks different than she's ever imagined, prove worth the risk? So this one was really fun. It's another great self-discovery story, and a great look at sort of self-identification and sexual orientation, and sort of finding who you are and understanding yourself. And it's also a great sort of like community-based story because, we've got the bar and she's a big part of the community and involved, and sort of so her identification changing, like she feels weird that, all these people already know her and she's kind of changing. So it's a really interesting perspective on it. And it was a really fun friends to lovers story as well. It's got a lot of good humor in it. It's, like I said, very community-based and really a really fun story with sort of her own self-discovery thing, and then the overarching plot of trying to save the bar kind of thing. So it was a really fun read, and I highly recommend it. So I'm glad I finally got to review this book since I read it in February. Yeah, so that one's a really fun read. And now, before my last pick, I did want to do some honorable mentions, because there's a couple that are definitely some of my favorites, but they're definitely like higher profile, so I'm sure everybody else has been talking about these as well, so I wanted to do some more maybe lower key, people might not have heard of them as well. But so my honorable mentions are obviously, we've got Heartstoppers by Alice Osman, which is just one of the most beautiful graphic novels I've ever read, and just so cute, and I loved the TV show they made from it. It was a really good interpretation of the graphic novel, and so that's just a really fun story. And then there's Boyfriend Material by Alexis Hall, and I love all her stuff too. Like everything she writes is incredible, and Boyfriend Material was a really fun fake relationship story, so that's one of my honorable mentions. And then, of course, Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston, because that one's so good. And so my last pick is actually also by the same author. It's One Last Stop, and the synopsis: her cynical 23-year-old August, moving to New York City, is supposed to prove her right, that things like magic and cinematic love stories don't exist, and the only smart way to move through life is alone. She can't imagine how waiting tables at a 24-hour pancake diner and moving in with too many weird roommates could possibly change that. And there's certainly no chance of her subway commute being anything more than a daily trudge through boredom and electrical failures. But then, there's this gorgeous girl on the train. Jane. Dazzling, charming, mysterious, impossible Jane. Jane with her rough edges and swoopy hair and soft smile, showing up in a leather jacket to save August's day when she needed it most. August's subway crush becomes the best part of her day, but pretty soon she discovers there's one big problem. Jane doesn't just look like an old-school punk rocker, she's literally displaced in time from the 1970s, and August is going to have to use everything she tried to leave in her own past to help her. Maybe it's time to start believing in some things after all. This is one of my favorite books. I think I just found it on Libby, and I absolutely love the sort of time travel aspect of it and the sort of meet cute on the train. It's just so good. And it's so sweet and just such a fun little love story. It's so charming, and the characters are so engaging and so fun, and it's just got that little bit of sci-fi time travel kind of thing, that little bit of like, okay, they've met, they fall in love, but there's no way they can actually be together because August and Jane can only meet up on that one train car because there's something going on with the time travel element. So it's that sort of like, they fall in love, but how can they be together if they're in different times? And it's just so good. I want to recommend it to everybody because, again, I didn't realize at the time that it's by Casey McQuiston, who also does Red, White, and Royal Blue. So you can be sure it's written beautifully, just like all her other books, and it's just... But yeah, so One Last Stop is so good, and I definitely need to pick up a copy for my shelf because I will reread that over and over. It was so good, and the writing was amazing, and the slight twist kind of setup is just so good. It was just so my vibe. So yeah, that is my favorite LGBTQ plus book. So let me know down in the comments if you've read any of these and what you think, what your opinions, how you like them. Also, leave me recommendations for any other of your favorites. I need way more recommendations for fun LGBTQ plus books because it's definitely a smaller section of what I've read. I really want to expand on more gender identity kind of stories and just with different type of characters than you're used to seeing in, mainstream literature. So if anybody has good recommendations for that, make sure to leave them in the comments. And as always, I hope you all have a wonderful day.